literally these kids were the best version of themselves, which is fair because when I think about myself on vacation, that's also the best version of myself once I get 2 days in and it's not the last day. So
Right,
it's like,
right. Yeah, yeah. You gotta have a lot of warm up. I would say your text messages going into vacation were worrisome, and then talking to you after vacation, it was like a whole new Lucy. Them two will sleep when we're
we'll
dead.
sleep when we're dead. I know. And we'll sleep when we're dead. And I'm on my 3rd cup of coffee this
Oh,
morning.
same. I'm on
That's
my second. We'll sleep when we're dead, where we don't sleep and we only drink coffee. Welcome. Oh my gosh. I actually got a lot of sleep last night. I'm not
Did
going to
you?
brag, but I am going to brag. Yeah. Yeah.
I had one of those. I think I was having just anxiety about a lot of things. And thus, my dreams last night were so over the top. And I always think hearing about people's dreams is kind of like, okay,
So boring.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like, those
Yeah.
were your dreams. But I mean, there were aliens. There were
Oh my God.
things falling from the sky. There were
my
my
God.
kids were coming down in swimsuits. Henry came down in Piper's swimsuit in my dream. So I told him that this morning, and he thought that was
He
the
thought
funniest
that was
thing.
so silly. Oh my gosh. Well, speaking of swimsuits, you just got back from a lovely vacation, so maybe that's why
I did.
swimsuits were on your brain.
But why were aliens on my brain? It wasn't like I was.
Anxiety.
I think
Yeah,
that's
it was anxiety. It's okay. They were just here to remind you that you're not in control, you know?
Well, I think also part of it was my experience the other night coming home from my work trip, which was
Yeah, you've had like a wild week.
it really has been. There's been a lot. There have been highs and lows. I would say highs, definitely vacationing with the kids.
Ugh.
Okay, you just did a vacation similar to this recently where you took the
Yeah.
kids to a hotel that had, pool, beach, all the things to keep them
So
busy.
kid-friendly. Yeah.
And literally these kids were the best version of themselves, which is fair because when I think about myself on vacation, that's also the best version of myself once I get 2 days in and it's not the last day. So it's
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. You gotta have a lot of warm up. I would say your text messages going into vacation were worrisome, and then talking to you after vacation, it was like a whole new Lucy. So that's pretty typical.
It really is. It takes me like several days to like get out of regular routine mode. And then immediately upon getting into vacation mode, which, takes me my full 48 hours, then I'm like, great. But then once I'm exiting vacation, things start to get
out of
really
there.
hairy again.
Yeah,
So
you're out of there.
that's why when we took the kids to Paris this year, it was perfect because that was like 10 days. So there was like a solid 6 days in there where I could really enjoy it because I had the buffer zones on either side. I think as I'm saying all of this out loud, I'm starting to realize I have a problem.
Yeah.
But, that's what this podcast has really done for me. It's really illuminated a lot of...
Same.
I feel like I've been thinking about things much more deeply.
Yeah.
This is probably what going to therapy feels like and counseling.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know, but I just would imagine it really illuminates a lot about yourself.
I think it's just the point of this whole thing of why it's so important to like get it all out of there. Like just talk about it. Like get it out,
Well, and that I think has been funny when we've had friends that have really been enjoying the podcast that have texted and said like, it's actually just really nice to know someone else has had a similar experience. So if anyone else out there has, the pre-vacation anxiety, the post-vacation anxiety, and then, just that nice little buffer in between. Anyways, all this to say, this was all leading to the fact that legitimately these kids were the best behaved, best, like most fun, engaged, all the things that they have ever been. Like they were perfect little versions of themselves. And I was laughing because I'm like, wow, like the turning point. This is where they become the easiest kids
forever,
of all
right?
time.
Perfect forever.
Like we're gonna take this, we're gonna bottle it up, and we're gonna catapult it. I'm not kidding you. Within literally 3 minutes, couldn't have been less than or more than 3 minutes of arriving home.
Horrible.
The listening ears gone.
Nope.
And I had said in the car, like at the airport parking lot, I was like, guys, can we keep this up? I'm like, you've been angels. I'm like, how can we carry this on when we get home? And they're like, we can, Mom. We really
No.
can. Like, they were so committed to it. So committed. And I'm like, I'm committed. Like, I'm calm. We're all calm. And literally we get home and it's like 8 p.m. It is like time for bath, bed.
Yeah.
Let's go. We're running around like psychopaths.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
can't listen to a word that I'm saying. It was the
Isn't that weird?
most impressive switch. I'm like, so we have to live at a hotel now? Is that what I'm hearing? Is this
So you were happy they went to school the next day?
No, because they were still on fall break. So they still had like the rest of fall break because we have a full week.
Oh,
So they
I
got
thought for some reason you
a
only
couple
had
extra days
few
with grandparents and all of that, which was very fun for them. Like
Yeah.
they had
I didn't
a
realize
great
you
fall
get a
break.
whole week. You had the whole
A
last
whole week. Which
Wow.
I was thinking about how we have like a fall break, a winter break, which
Yeah.
they used to call a ski break. I don't know if they call it that there, which is a bit presumptuous. What's that word? Presumptuous? Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Words are tough today after that
Yeah.
alien dream.
Yeah.
And then spring break, but you have so many like one day off here and there and there that we don't have. So it's probably all averages out because you don't have as many. I feel like you don't have as many like long week off breaks. Is that right?
No, if we had a fall break, I might as well become a homeschool mom. I would be over it. I would just be like, what's the point of them going because they're home more?
Because I should have asked her to be on the pod. I should have just gotten up the nerve while we were on vacation, but I met a mom on vacation that she has 3 boys and she's homeschooling the first for kindergarten right now. And I didn't really probe into why. I was like, oh, awesome. I was like, how's it going? She's like, well, I'm not doing it next year, if that tells you anything. I'm like, okay,
Oh my,
it's
really?
October. We're like a solid 1 month, 6 weeks in, and she's already checked out. But it was just funny because there would be times when they were visiting grandparents down there. There would be times we're all swimming at the pool, and she's like, okay, it's time to go up for homeschool. I'm like, oh, wow, like you're doing it here on vacation.
Wow.
And she's like, I mean, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
She's like, that's about all I can squeeze out of him.
We need a homeschool expert.
We
on
have
here
to get a
so bad.
homeschool mom. Anyone that has
so-
one that wants to come on, please. We're desperate to talk to.
Please reach out. And if for some reason you don't know us and you're listening, thank you for being here. Comment on our like Spotify stuff because being a teacher and now a stay-at-home mom, I can't tell you how many people are like, oh, like you would totally do that, right? And I'm like, absolutely not. Not because I don't think it's a great thing. I like am actually very intrigued by it.
Yeah.
But I can't get my girls to brush their teeth. How am I supposed to get them how to read? How am I supposed to like Isla is so smart, but she still doesn't quite understand like basic math. And I'm a math teacher, and my impatience for this is so high that like nobody needs me to be teaching my own kids. Like, I don't know how to tell you why 8 + 2 is 10. You just got to know it. And why do you know it now and you don't know it tomorrow? Like, I just think that we say home moms are like, it's hard to do that. That's how I feel about homeschool moms or dads. I am just so intrigued by it. I want to be
I want to unpack it. I have so many questions just even about the logistics of it.
Yeah,
like
that's how I am. I'm so fascinated by logistics of it all. Like when you say only an hour and a half of school, which kind of makes sense because the kid can only learn that much. What is your other
Which
day
is what she was
like?
saying. She's like, I can't get him to concentrate for longer than that.
So then are you just like unstructured playtime? Because that's like my worst nightmare as a mom. Like just to like have hours of them not doing like it's just so
what do you do? I mean, this was my curiosity. I'm like, you have 3 kids.
Yeah.
All the other 2 were younger than this one. So what did the other 2 do while you're homeschooling this one?
It's we got to get some people on here.
We got to get a lot of people. So, okay. So I had that, which was great. Great family time. Loved it. So great that I did a last minute trip right when we got back up to our office. And on the way home, I mean, my team thinks it's really funny because they're always like, everything is fine when you leave. Like, typically it's weather. Typically it's like, it's blue skies and then legitimately I'll be in an actual tornado driving home. Like, this has now happened basically twice where I get an actual alert on my phone that's like, been a tornado spotted 3 feet from your location. Find cover. And I don't know. I'm on a highway. I don't know what to do. And I still need to think about that for the inevitable next time that this happens. But, you know, scooting along, I've got about 45 minutes left, 30, 45 minutes left. And I start hearing this like thud, thud, thud. And this car, I mean, literally, when I was on the drive up, I was thinking so gratefully about how this car has been a real workhorse. I mean, this has been like several years now of doing this trip several times a month. Like, I think I was thinking about it. I'm like, I've done this trip like over 50 times, like a lot of times. And I was just so grateful. And then I start hearing this thud, thud, thud. And I'm like, did I hit something? Like, I don't remember hitting. I'm singing Hamilton. Like, did I hit something while I was singing, belting Hamilton? So, as always, you're in the middle of a highway. It's now pitch black at night. It's 7:30 at night. Very first thing I see is like a trucks only rest stop. I'm like, this feels scary, but all right. So that felt like actually the scariest moment of all, pulling off, and it's, there's 100 different trucks pulled over, and I'm just trying to find one tiny little stretch to pull over. So I pull up against this curb and I get out of the car and I look back, and just like a whole piece of the car is just laying on the pavement. And of course then I'm like, was that piece here as I pulled in and I just didn't see it, or was that my piece of the car? And so I go over there and pull it up. My hands are like covered. I mean, just black, just black cover. I'm like, I think this is my piece of the car. So I throw it in the trunk. I'm like, great. Okay. This piece is gone. It doesn't seem that important. So we're going to get back on the highway and get going again. It's all funny now. I wasn't laughing in the moment. I was like, this is where I blow up. Like, I don't know anything about cars. So I'm just assuming. Get on the car. I'm not 3 seconds out of the trucks only rest stop. And now I'm hearing scraping. Like, it's no longer a thud. It's like a solid scraping noise. And I'm like, no, this is where I blow up, because this is where the engine's going to fall out and something is going to happen. So I pull over, pitch black night. And where I chose to pull over is right where those like guardrails, like on the side of the road. So I am a mere 6 inches from the edge of the highway, this pitch black, semis going by me. And we wonder why I'm having anxious dreams about aliens. Right. I'm now picturing all those trucks coming towards me. I like lean under the car. I have my tiny little flashlight. This has taught me, I think you need a flashlight in your car.
Yes, always.
Flashlight,
and
maybe blankets. Yeah. All the things.
Maybe some pepper spray.
Pepper spray would be great. And there is like there's like now not a plastic piece. There is like a metal piece hanging down under the car. So I call Kevin. He's like, can you FaceTime me? I'm like, it's pitch black out here. I'm on the side of the highway, inches from becoming roadkill. Like, no, I can't FaceTime you, and that's not going to show you anything. So I just get back on, and I'm going so slow because every time I speed up past 41 miles an hour, it's like, well, this is where the car is going to die. So I have my flashers on. Trucks are like zooming around me. I get the rest of the 30 minutes home. I mean, barely. I pull over like 3 times just to like check what's under there, as if something's going to be different. Like is more of it falling out. But moral of the story is I made it. And
you're here now.
We're grateful. We're here.
My God. I don't know about you, but I don't have a car anymore. I
Which
love
is
that.
a wild. I remember when you sold the car, and I'm like, how could you possibly live? And you've been just fine.
Oh, I love not having a car. Oh my God.
Have you even missed it at all?
No, at all.
Do you just rent? Like when you went to upstate New York last week,
when we went
upstate,
upstate,
a car?
Yeah, we went apple picking and pumpkin patching, whatever, upstate, and we just ran a car for a day because it's so easily accessible here, and we're not even also like crossing state lines to New York. Not that anybody cares. The like car insurance like tripled, so we would just be like paying for our car to be driven like once a year. Or once a month, excuse me.
And your parking was insane, too.
We're so many people who have cars here. They all have like one, and it makes total sense because so many people are from New York. So they always are going to like their grandparents' house on Long Island, or they have a house upstate. So like that totally makes sense. But then those people who have a car, I hear them talking so much more about they'll drive to Trader Joe's or they'll drive. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I don't have a car because I don't even think about that.
Yeah.
But when I did have a car, even getting gas felt like an inconvenience. Like anything involved with my car, I hated so much. So this would have put me over the edge.
I wasn't nearly as scared as I was that time I was stuck in the tornado on the highway. So, now it's like all a scale of fear. And
oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here.
And we're here to land the plane on Sam's experience with au pairs, because au pairs really did not get a fair shake the last time we talked about it. And I'm sure there are some people that have listened to it and feel aggrieved by how mean I was about it. But, that was my
No, I feel
experience.
like we love hearing people's feedback, and I felt like people were like, once again, in shock and awe of the experience. So
Yeah.
I think it was
Well,
a
I'm
great.
excited to hear about yours because yours was such a different experience, so positive.
Yeah.
And I do
Um,
think people would want to hear about it.
yeah, really quickly before
Yeah.
speaking of an au pair, because I got an au pair for my third baby this week. My newborn baby turned 3,
That newborn
and
baby. Uh-huh.
and I will forever call her a newborn baby. I get why people call their babies forever. I just feel like I have to put to rest this idea of a 4th kid because there's like no point in me joking about it or talking about it anymore. But I am really struggling with this child turning 3 because it's a real like I don't know, something between like 3 for me is that like first age where you're like not a baby anymore. Like
No.
1s and 2s are so freaking cute. I also don't really like the age of 3, which actually, this is a funny story. So on her birthday night, Kyle texts me and he's like, should we go to our favorite restaurant for Ruby's birthday and celebrate her? AKA just like, it's our favorite restaurant.
Yeah.
And we go and
Which
we
I
open.
love that it's your favorite restaurant because I got you that gift card before you even moved there. And I
Oh,
just felt it. I felt like it was going to be your favorite.
we talk
So
about how
fun.
we want to rent the place. I mean, it's truly like the best place in the world. So we go right at 5 when it opens. And there's this lovely waitress that always waits on our girls. And she opens the door. I'm waiting for Kyle on the train. And she's like, I'm so glad you're here. It's been forever. And the girls are like, hi. And then someone's like, it's Ruby's birthday. And she's like, oh my gosh, how are It's just like so warm and friendly. And so my sweet Isla was like, oh, she's 3. The waitress goes, do you remember when you were 3? And Isla goes, yeah, it was my worst year. And the waitress was like laughing. And she's like, that's what my mom said. My mom said it was my worst year.
And it
And I was like,
was, Isla.
it was, but I'm so embarrassed because I say that all the time. So anyway, all that to say, 3s are not my favorite. So Ruby turning 3 really makes me feel like she's like a big kid and I'm not ready. Like I'm not a nostalgic person. I don't really get sad on like the first days of schools and first days of preschool. I like throw art away. I don't know. Like I just don't really get sad about it. And I'm having a really hard time. So anyway, I just have to say that because the 4th child is not,
It's not
it's
happening.
really interesting when you like just don't agree with your spouse on having another kid, which I'm sure lots of people could relate to. Like I feel
Yeah.
like for so
Yeah, and you would
long.
have a 4th kid tomorrow. Kyle was on
Tomorrow.
board.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay. She
And
turned
that
3.
again, that is one of my favorite differences between the two of us. Because you would have kids for the rest of your life if you
I
could,
think I would.
because you really
know.
like it. And Kevin and I have been on the same page since before we even had kids. 2 and done. But
Yeah.
here's the funny thing. And I feel like that, and I'm curious about your thoughts on this. When I saw babies, when Henry was like 2.5, 3, and we were trying to have another kid, I loved seeing a baby. I was like, I need another one of those. If I see a baby now, like if we're at church and someone has a baby, I'm like, I don't ever want one of those again. So like, what's your reaction when you see a baby right now? Are you like, yummy, I want one of those? Or is it more so like you want it because you know so much about your own experience and how much you love having babies?
I don't think I've ever really liked anybody else's kids, really, but my own. So I don't really like love babies in general.
Sam comment of all time. I hate everyone else's kids but my own.
But like my sister just had a baby and she's like FaceTiming me every day because she's not working. And this sweet little 3-week-old is just nap trapped on her. And I'm like, oh, I loved that stage.
Yeah.
But I will say some of my friends here who have like the 11-month-old to like 18-month-old, even though it's such a fun stage, I actually look at that and I'm like, that is so freaking exhausting because I'm at the playground, like actually kind of sitting.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm like pushing swings and dealing with monkey bars, but like they're like, don't eat that, crawling, like this kind of where like that's what I don't miss. I just think because I've seen 3 through now, I think if Kyle would do 4, I would just know that it's a shorter time. I think that's what Ruby has taught me. And I would just do it to get to like 3 again because I just see myself when I'm 55. I just see myself with 4 kids. I don't know why. It's very weird. So yeah, no, I don't like, oh my gosh, I want a baby. And actually when you say that about babies, that's how I feel about pregnant people. When I see a pregnant woman, I am like, I want nothing to do with that. So that's kind of how I
Yeah.
feel about being pregnant. So anyway, all of that to say, I feel like
Um,
the three
a
birthday,
chapter is
yeah,
closing,
I think it's
and
just like I need to get over it. It's not going to happen. I would do it for the record.
I
But
know.
yeah. Okay. So anyway, the whole reason I said that was because Ruby is basically why I got an au pair. So my child care journey was like not existent. Because I stayed at home since day one with Isla, and the only person that really watched was like my mom and
Yeah.
Kyle's mom. And we felt really like grateful for that. And then we moved to Charlotte and I started to get
Well, you
like,
did have Donna, just like
that
for
was
help.
oh, that's true. Yeah. Sorry. I did talk about Donna, which is so funny. One of my friends was like, "We love Donna." I'm like, truly, like I talk about
She
Donna,
was
like
great. She was
she's an
so
angel.
amazing. Yeah.
But just like like when Isla, up until Isla was 2 and we were like in Charlotte, we would have like babysitters at date nights, but we would classically do the whole like I'd feed her at 7 and then we'd go out at
Mhm.
7:30 and like so I really just never had this like somebody else is caring for my kid.
Yeah.
So then we moved to Pittsburgh. Kyle's travel ramps up dramatically. I have no friends in Pittsburgh. It's very lonely. And so no family to help with Finley. So Finley's born, I get Donna, which I've already discussed.
Yeah.
Well, then we make this really dumb decision. I can say that now because it's happened. At the time, it's funny what you do when you're like vulnerable and so unhappy. We were like, we don't like Pittsburgh so much. If you are listening from Pittsburgh, we love you from Pittsburgh. But my personal experience was really hard to live in Pittsburgh. So we decided Kyle was traveling so much. Let's move to Charlotte, back to Charlotte, where we liked it. And he'll just travel Monday through Friday every single day, all day, every week. Like that sounds horrible right now. I would never do that again. But I think that was just like the fear of like, if we don't get out of Pittsburgh, we'll never get out.
Well, you were also, I mean, so deeply unhappy. Like it was a very, like
Oh,
walking through it with you as a friend, like that was a very dark time. Like even
I,
coming to visit. I remember I came to visit with Henry when I was pregnant with Piper. And it was
yes.
just like, you were
Oh,
like, this is a
so
no.
hard. It was
Yeah.
so. I remember literally driving through the suburbs of Pittsburgh because we lived in the city, which we actually like were excited about because we're city people.
Yeah.
It was just so hard to make community there. It's nothing actually
Yeah.
against the city of Pittsburgh. It was just
Totally.
my experience of making community. But we were like, okay, we'll probably end up moving to these nice suburbs because the schools up there were actually like amazing. And I'll never
Yeah.
forget, we would drive up there and look at land to like potentially buy a house. And I would just be like, Kyle, if you make me do this for 10 years, like I'm not going to make it. And I've like never felt that way about any place that I've lived. I was just like, I can't see my life past like tomorrow.
Okay. And Pittsburgh specifically was similar when I lived in Cincinnati. We drew this parallel because I think it is consistent. They're not super transient cities. Like
No,
if you have grown up in Pittsburgh, you're
I
kind of
love it.
there. And
Yes.
so a lot of people, and this was both of our experiences in those two cities, they grow up there and they really stay connected with their
Yep.
elementary, high
Yep.
school, college
Family.
friends that have family that have
Yeah.
all been
Sisters
there.
and brothers still live there. And again, we're speaking more general, but it really was my true experience, even to the
Yeah.
point where my neighbor in the backyard, because your backyard's like the city life there, we had a row house. So it was very tiny, no yards. So you would see your neighbor all the time. And I'm so used to being like, hey, like, you want to come over? We'd invite people over for barbecues and they never would say yes. They were very friendly to the point where when we moved and we told them, they literally were like, we didn't know you were so unhappy. We're so sorry we didn't like hang out more. And I'm like, it's okay. You guys just are born and raised here. You have your friends. You
Yeah.
were always out doing all of your fun stuff. And it was 2 full years of me going to like every baby class, everything, all
Yeah.
that to say. I got Donna because I was like, I can't be at home all summer
Right.
long with a 3-year-old and a newborn, and my husband is gone. Okay, so I got Donna. We decided to move to Charlotte. Literally, I'm not kidding you. 3 weeks after we decided to move to Charlotte, I found out I was pregnant with Ruby as like a surprise. Because we moved to Charlotte, with the idea of moving to Charlotte where we're going to wait for the school year was like, okay, it's not easy, but Finley was 8 months. I kept telling Kyle, I think I can do 2 kids at home Monday through Friday. I have a lot of good friends in Charlotte. Like, I can do this. So we like talked to his boss. We literally talked to a realtor, like, we're committed. And then 3 weeks later, Ruby comes. I become pregnant with Ruby. And I was like, I can't do this. So fast forward, we're in
I
Charlotte.
mean, it wasn't even just Monday through Friday. Often it was like leave Sunday night, get back Friday night.
Yeah. Charlotte was that's like could be a whole other podcast of like, Yeah, because like if he had an 8 a.m. meeting and the 5 a.m., like sometimes he would look and like the 5 a.m. just like wasn't running that week because there's not a lot of flights to
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. He would have to leave on Sunday night. And then there was like one flight out of Pittsburgh on Friday night. And sometimes the weather would be so bad in Charlotte that he wouldn't come back until Saturday and then he'd have to leave on Sunday. I mean, it's truly,
It was
yeah,
nuts.
nuts. Okay. So I am pregnant with Ruby and I am like, I'm finally kind of experiencing what you experienced maybe for 2 months. I can only relate for 2 months. Actively, like every Facebook website, every person I know asking people, I need help mornings and nights when Ruby comes. Cause my two others were in preschool. So I was like, I love the first year. I love the baby. I was like, if I can just get somebody to come in the morning and come at night, because Kyle's gone, like that's great.
What's funny, this is the funny thing about this podcast. I always am like, oh, I've forgotten like huge chunks of things that have happened, but then you talk about something, and this is when I distinctly remember I had come to Charlotte to visit you with Piper when Piper
Mhm.
was like itty bitty.
Itty
And I
bitty.
remember the stretch of road we were walking on. We had gone on a walk where you were basically lamenting. You're like, I literally cannot find
Can't
anyone that
find
fits the
anyone.
criteria of what I'm looking for.
No, I couldn't. And like, obviously, the criteria I was looking for was so hard to find, but people kept
Right.
being like, you'll find a student, like, whatever. So my aunt and uncle always had au pairs growing up when I would go visit them. And it was such a lovely experience. They became like family. And I just kept saying, we have an extra bedroom, Kyle. And then Kyle kept being like, I don't know, somebody has to live with us. And I finally put my foot down. I was like, dude, you're here 20% of the week. Like, I will be living with this human. I'm sorry. I can't find anybody to help me. I have no family. I have friends, but like friends aren't coming over at 6 a.m. to help me.
Yeah.
Like,
They've got their own families.
exactly. So anyway, we went the au pair route. And to sum it up, we had the best experience. We had this girl coming from, we got a second year, which was much more helpful. And we had her coming from Seattle.
Can you
And
explain like the difference between the first year and the second year for people that don't
yeah. So
understand
this
it?
was, everybody has different advices for you. And the advice that we were given through other people was like, depending on your energy as a host family, there's one of two ways of going to it. I am not a super control freak when it comes to care. Obviously, I was brand new. So people who want to get somebody on their first year means that they're getting them like from the country. And it's a good idea because you can kind of train them because they're so new. They've not lived with another family, and you can kind of train them to do exactly what you want. And then if they're good, you keep them for 2 years.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically, per their contract, which we know how that worked last episode. And I was under the impression of the opposite. I was like, I'm barely hanging on by a thread. Like, sorry, but I don't have time to deal with homesickness. Like, because that's what they
Yeah.
prepare you a lot for. Like, I have 3 kids and a husband that's gone. I just don't have the capacity. I know that sounds really harsh, but that's where I
Well, no,
was.
but it's more than that. It's like homesickness, cultural
Right.
acclimation, driver's license, as we spoke about. Like there's a
Yes.
lot of ramp up that
Yes.
honestly, like you don't really know about until you get in it.
Get
That
into it.
I mean, how long did I go to was it Social Security or some
Yeah.
office? I was
Right.
there for like 3 hours and then we got to the end and she didn't have the right papers. It's like those types of things
Right.
where
Right.
you're like, how is this
How?
possible? So
How?
yeah. So there are, pros and
Uh,
cons. And then second years have the totally different
Yeah, so I was
perspective.
kind of told through some people, hey, you might want to look into second years. However, like let's say like out of all of the au pairs that are available, 10% of them are second years because what happens is so many of them really like where they're at. And so they
Yep.
stay for the 2 years because it's easier. But every once in a while, you get somebody who doesn't want to go home back to their country after a year. They just don't really love the family. They don't love the city. Like Marietta's, my au pair, she loved her family, but she's from like Beach Town, Columbia, and she was living in like Seattle. So she just
Mm-hmm.
basically was like, I love you guys, but I just want a different like experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really happy. I wanted to go that route because she had already had her paperwork. She had already had her driver's license.
Yep.
It was just like she came in and after 3 days of training her and our family, like she took the ground running, which is like
Yeah.
what I needed in that state of time. So she was, I mean, truly like if au pair programs could extend more than 2 years, I would have had her forever. She moved with us to New York City for her last month. She I mean, even my friends were like, "Can we all have a Marriott?" I mean, I trusted
Mhm.
her more with my kids than myself. Like, she just there's nothing el I mean, she just was perfect. That was when I was, like, selling you because I was having
I
this, like,
know.
amazing experience, and so the reason why I think there's such a pro with au pairs, if there ever anybody out there who has a space, I just think that getting over somebody living in your house for me was so much easier than that is the biggest thing that people say to me. Even when I say I had an au pair in New York City with how small our apartment is, I find it harder for them to live with you than us to live with an au pair because
Totally.
they're moving into this space where they're like using your systems where I can do
Mhm.
whatever I want in my own house.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a
I
great
just
point.
yeah, I just kind of I have not had any issue, but I also was so desperately in need of help that, like, Donna kept me afloat in Pittsburgh and Marietta's kept me afloat in Charlotte besides my amazing mom friends. But, like so anyway, she would work from 6 a.m. until 9 a.m. every single morning. She'd have her break during the day, and then she would start back up around, like, 3 or 4 and work until bedtime. And after 2 or 3 months, we were just like sister wives. It was the best. Like, we would just, like, make dinner together. She wouldn't even ask me. She would just be like, "Oh, it's time for Ruby's bath. I'm gonna go take Ruby." To the point where sometimes I would be like, "You're doing so much. I want to be with my kids." Like, she
Right.
just was so, so good. So the cost is so the
Yeah,
cost
it
is
really is.
so much
Insane.
cheaper.
I mean,
It is even with the phone bill that we pay for the car insurance, we paid for her gas unless she was driving herself, she would pay for her
yep.
own gas. The food in our house, which now food is much more expensive even than 3 years ago, so I didn't really track our new au pair's
Yeah.
food. That got pricey in New York City, but in the hourly rate of 45 hours that an au pair can work compared to a nanny, it's almost half.
Yep.
So for us, it just was the perfect experience. So we fast forward, we moved to New York and Ruby's now 1.5, 1 in, like, a couple months, and Marietta's has to go home because her 2-year contract is
Yep.
up, and I'm like, "I can do it. I can do all 3 kids by myself in New York City with a husband that still travels." He's now
Still
just
traveling
traveling.
5 days a
Still
week.
traveling, yeah. Not as much as 5 days, but he'll, like let's just say there's no reason for me to ever believe Cal's not gonna be traveling.
Mhm.
I crashed and burned really hard. Like, that
You
was a
gave it a good
really
effort.
that was a really rough 2 or 3 months of, like,
Yeah.
New York winters, 3 kids by myself, the
New to
logistics,
the city.
new to the city.
Yeah.
I went from much more care in Charlotte to way less care in New York because schools are so expensive that I, like, had my kids be in way more part-time preschool than full-time. It was a very rough go. So, I was like, "Something's gotta change," and so we had such a good experience. We got another au pair because of the cost. And just to, like, paint a picture, it was a 3-bedroom. Au pairs have to have a bedroom. Ruby was in my closet, the 2 girls shared a room, and the au pair had another room, and that's how we lived because that was more important than me, like, being unhappy, and that's, like, the moral of this as a stay-at-home mom is, like, I have an extreme traveling husband, not everybody has a husband that travels as much, but I still feel like even if your husband is home leaves at 8 and comes home at 5 and you're a stay-at-home mom, if you could just sprinkle in some care, it is so beneficial.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so anyway, that au pair was another second year. She was living in a town outside of Jersey and similar situation. She just was like, I want to be more in like the hustle bustle of New York. I don't want to be in the suburbs. So she just like came in and she was great. And it was just such a good experience. I mean, there was a bit more challenges with her than the first, but it was never to the point of me regretting doing it. And now she's living in New York, not with us anymore because her au pair's over, but she's on a student visa, and she comes over, like, once a week and babysits, and it's, like, the best experience. Like, they still talk
So
about
amazing.
like, when Ruby talks about, "I love mommy, I love daddy," and then she'll say, "I love Gabby," like, she just, like, thinks Gabby's, like, a part of the family.
Yeah. I love
It
that.
it just worked for us so
Yeah.
well that if we would ever so we downsized our apartment to a new apartment mid-year with Gabby, 3 months left to even smaller space, but we still had a 3-bedroom, and that was, like, the kicker for Kyle. Kyle was like,
Yeah.
"I can't have" we live in 1,300 square feet, so to have 3 kids, a dog, and another adult in 1,300 square feet.
We always forget about Pinot.
Oh my
Lest we
god.
forget about that
I
sweet
would say
nugget of a
we
dog.
could talk about it, but I don't even wanna talk
I
about the
know.
fact that I have a dog.
You can't stand that dog
So
at this
I
point.
am here to say, like, gosh, that was such a great experience.
And that's why it wasn't fair that we got cut off the last time
I
and we
know.
just really didn't give it a full. And
Yeah.
and I will say, if I had even a glimmer of the experience that you had, we might
Right.
still have one. Like
Yeah.
I can
Totally.
so still see the benefits of them,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
just
it
wasn't
was
for us.
great. It was really,
But
and I'm sad. Like I'm kind of not crashing and burning a little bit. She was done with us in June and it's October and summer's over and we're in our new routine and I'm a little like, wow, like so
miss it.
I'm looking to like cuz Kyle's still traveling. Like the last 5 weeks he's been gone almost 4 nights a week and like
Yeah.
it's hard for me to be 3 places at one time. So I'm not going to get an au pair, but I'm such an advocate. And that's one of my favorite parts. I can end on this. One of my favorite parts about New York City is like nobody here is going to ever shame you for having help.
Yeah.
Here is a place like I remember in Charlotte, I was self-conscious to tell people I'm a full-time stay-at-home mom and I have an au pair because every once in a while you would get a little snarky comment of like, wait, you don't work? Like you would get that a lot. And New
Mhm.
York is a place where they're like, of course you need help. Like people just acknowledge that the schlep here is hard. And
Yeah.
so it's just
You don't
really
even have a
nice.
car. Let's go back to that.
Yeah.
Like, you're schlepping your groceries, like, miles at a
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. So like people just accept like anybody's level of help, whether people have multiple nannies or whatever. It's just it was such a refresher for me to kind of be like, oh yeah, I have
Yeah.
an au pair. And people are like, of course you do. You have 3 kids. You should have help. And I'm like, yeah, that's the attitude I want to tell every stay-at-home mom. Like, you can have a tiny bit of help. Like,
Yeah.
this is hard. This is really,
Yeah.
really hard. So anyway, childcare is evolving for us though. We'll probably still be
It
talking about
is.
it,
So I'm
even though
sure
it
it will pop back up again at some point, but I love asking all of our guests how they've done it because I do think there is, like, a very unique I don't know, it's unique for everyone.
it's
So,
totally unique. Okay, so I did what I did for myself last
what
week.
is it?
No, I already did. Remember last week I did
I
Gabby's
know, and I
dollhouse.
haven't done one thing for myself, so I'm trying to think about what it is.
Do you have a product?
I have a non-product. This would be a really
What does that mean? Like, don't use
I
it?
mean, something I would not recommend. And
Uh,
I don't know if
Are
it's
we allowed
user
to say
error.
that? Are we allowed to talk about that?
I mean, we can do whatever we want. It's our podcast, but
We can do whatever we want.
I think that one's dumb. I'm not going to share it. I'm just going to say I don't think that avocado oil is meant to be for nonstick cooking spray. So I'm just going to share that for anyone that
Okay.
needs to hear it.
Yeah.
Because
Why
I've been
would you?
really in my baking era right now. Here's why I would do it, Sam, because I got a Costco size version because I couldn't walk past the price. And I'm scared. Everyone's making you scared of seed oils these days, which I don't even fully understand. I don't
Yeah.
fully comprehend a seed oil, but this one was seed oil free, great price, grab them.
Is olive
I'm
oil
trying
seed
I
oil?
don't think so. See,
Why don't you just why don't you just cook with olive oil?
I do, but I'm just saying I was making some pumpkin bread. It's
Just
really
butter
bad for the
loose.
muffins.
We're getting too old to not just go back to whole milk is back. Just use the butter. Just take the butter stick. Avocado oil is to be healthy in your 20s. Like we are too old to be
You're
carrying
out there eating trillions
butter.
of Pop-Tarts training for this
Pop-Tart.
marathon.
Yeah, life is too
Pop-Tarts
short.
definitely have seed oils. So,
Life is
I
too
mean,
short for avocado oil for your pumpkin bread, okay?
I know. All right.
Okay. Rant
That
over.
it really derailed us, but I just don't.
Oh my gosh. I have a product because
Okay, share your product because I really got us off track. And I really don't think, I mean, what I did for myself was going on vacation and like really
Yeah.
being intentional with my kids. That
Yeah.
I feel like is always going to be the thing that I'm really focused on when I'm
Yeah.
doing those things. So that's what I'm
And
going
you
to say
did it.
this week.
And
it was
you did
excellent.
it. Good job. I even texted you. I hope that you can like unwind for 3
I did.
days.
I did.
I only have 2 more weeks until the New York City Marathon. Nobody is in their feelings more than me.
Ugh.
I'm so emotional about my 3-year-old, and I'm so emotional about this already ending because it's become my whole personality. So basically, I have 3 more weeks, 2 more weeks to talk about running because that's all I talk about. Literally, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Never going to run again after this? Is it just going to be over?
Nobody's going to care about like 3 or 4 miles. But when you tell people you're running the New York City Marathon, people are so
No one but me,
proud.
because no one checks in on each other's workouts more than the two of us.
Yeah. Every weekend I get a how long is this weekend? So from you. Kyle could care less, and you across states are like, how many are you doing? Oh my
Have
God.
we
Okay.
peaked? What part of the training program
Yeah,
are we
where are we
at?
at? When are we like deloading? It's very nice of you. So you're not even going to have anything to talk to me about. So my whole personality, I have 2 more weeks left. I'm even going to get my nails done and I'm going to make them hot pink because I'm raising money for breast cancer. So when I'm running, I have hot pink nails. Like it's truly become my whole
Which,
identity.
can we put that? Can we put the link to that on our podcast page?
We could, but it's over.
The fundraising
Like I had
is
to,
over?
yeah, I had to fundraise by October 15th, which is my baby's birthday.
Well,
And that's a
I
whole other
didn't-
story that we'll talk off
didn't-
podcast about.
Okay. Well, considering I didn't even donate, I'm feeling like the worst. So I missed.
Well, you
I
didn't
just
donate.
assumed I had until the race.
You didn't donate because I never sent the link because I am to ask people to raise money has not been my strong suit.
Non-help, asking for help. This is like the worst version of it.
It was really bad. Okay. Anyway, I have this gel. And if you're a runner, kind of like Bandit, I'm obsessed with Bandit. And if you're a runner,
Yep.
everybody knows. But like, I have the worst GI running. Okay.
Yep.
That's fun. That's another thing you talk a lot about as a runner. But this Morton gel is the only gel that works for my GI out of all of the brands.
Okay.
I have tried so many other ones. This is the only one that I can do like 5 on a run. Well, that's aggressive. I only do 4. I think I'm supposed to do like 6, but I underfuel. And it's truly the best. Like it doesn't have a flavor. It's not like all those other brands that I probably shouldn't say out loud that are disgusting. This is been hands down like the best fuel for my run.
Oh my gosh. Where can we get it? Amazon?
Yeah. They get them on Amazon, but like I love running stores because like the running stores you can get single packs. So like basically during my training, I got a bunch of single packs of them and then I saw what worked for me.
Yep.
And a lot of them were not working for me. But this has been
And
like
what flavor do we love?
This is the best part. They don't have flavor and the packaging is amazing. It's just black.
What does it taste like?
Sugar. It's like water and sugar and a couple other things. But like that's the other brands are always like citrus or whatever. Chocolate. Like I used to be a chocolate or coffee and they have these and then they have caffeinated ones, which I haven't tried, but there's no flavor. And like kind of that's the point. It's kind of just like this clear sugar gel that you get down really quickly.
I just love that you have turned things that you love into show and tell because we had the critters. I know. I'm being serious. I really like it. I'm like, oh, okay. I need to like do this the next time I do something that I love.
Show and tell.
It is. Might inspire more people to watch this, which is not what I'm encouraging. I'm just saying it is. It's a fun little new addition.
I know. Well, it makes a bigger, I feel like it like, especially with the calico critters. So anyway, I don't know if I'm saying it right. Morton. I think it's Martin.
We'll link it.
We'll Chef's
link it
Kiss.
For people that so glad.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I think that your personality can continue to be about running if you want it to be. I just want to encourage you in that so that you don't feel like your exciting world is ending after the marathon's over. Well, with that, I hope everyone has a really great rest of their week.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for listening. See ya.
Okay, bye.
Bye.